Everyone is a product, and everyone needs marketing to succeed. Let's talk about it right now on the C-Spot. Going to market with Wendi and Peter.
Hey, good afternoon. Here we are. It's Wendi and Peter show.
Yes, welcome to the C-Spot.
Thank you. Welcome to the C-Spot. I'm trying to pull this up, Peter. I'm going to watch live today on this. I'm going to see what's going on, but of course it's not working yet. Hey.
Welcome.
It is, I realized something, Peter.
What's that, Wendi?
I realized that we never say what day it is, or we never say what episode it is.
Oh, interesting.
So it's actually June 12th, 2014.
Yes.
And I'm not too sure what our episode is. I think it might be episode number 7 or 8.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll have to number the episodes and even number way back to when.
Well, no.
Because this could be episode 100 of the C-Spot.
No,
Probably not.
Well, it's way over 100 because we had 100 when we were at the LA Talk Radio.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but we're here now, and we're happy that we're here.
Totally.
But we do have some great shows past, but you can't find them anywhere because they've been taken down. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. What I really want to talk about before our guest comes online, because once we get our guest online, he's super dynamic and he's going to rock.
Totally.
So here's a few things that I want to talk about.
Yeah, what is it, Wendi?
First thing, Peter, is that a couple of things. Okay, number one, I know I'm going to get caught up in the show, and I am not going to mention anything about Father's Day. And I have a habit of doing that because the show ends really quickly, and then I'm going, oh, we got to go, and then I don't talk about the things I want to talk about.
Right.
All right, so Father's Day. My father, I want to wish my father happy Father's Day live on air, although he never watches, nor does I think he even knows I have a radio show, but whatever. But I could surprise him. But what is cool and special about my dad, and I think what's going to be great is if people can go on to C-Spot Talk Facebook page and tell us what's cool about your dad, about their dad.
That's a great idea.
Right? And that would be just really fun to do. And so I'll start. What's cool about my dad is my father, he's 86 years old, and he served in the Air Force. And in Newbyberg, Germany in 1953, 54, it was when they formed the Sky Blazers.
Wow.
Which were, the Sky Blazers was the original name of the Thunderbirds. And my father was an original Thunderbird. It started in Newbyberg, Germany, and then when they came over here to the United States, they actually had a contest, and I have that little article within the Air Force to name the team, and the team was named then the Thunderbirds. So he is the original Thunderbird, which is so cool. And for those of you who don't know who Thunderbirds is, think Tom Cruise in Top Gun. They're just the Blue Angels. They're the Navy. My dad's a Thunderbird, so.
Wow.
Yeah. For me, that is so freaking cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I was real proud of my dad for that reason. Other than that, I can't think of anything, Dad, so sorry. No.
That's awesome.
I'm kidding. Other than this really funny Brooklyn sense of humor, that I think I acquired over the years.
Yes, I can see that.
Kind of like the Peter got a haircut when he comes in.
Yes, I did.
And what did I say? I said, no, you didn't get a haircut. You got them all cut. Right?
Yeah,
that's what my dad always
would
says.
say.
Right. Let's see. The other thing, what was it that I wanted you to ask me about?
Well, it's interesting because marketing is a big part of launching a product or of a company and everything like that. But there's yet another big part of having a successful product or company, and that's customer service.
Right. And I wanted you to ask me about Fitbit.
I wanted to ask you about the customer service you got at Fitbit.
Okay, so last week we had on Blair Taylor and Tom Jordan. It was a crazy week. We learned a lot about microphones. And at lunch, I wanted to show them that I had my Fitbit. I had a Fitbit because they both have like a Fitbit or a similar item. A Fitbit is one of those tracking bracelets, right?
Right.
And that syncs with your phone or your computer. And I was so proud of the fact that I had a Fitbit. I actually bought it from my husband, but I had a Fitbit, and I was going to show it to them. Look, I have a Fitbit. And I looked at my wrist and it was gone.
Yeah, it wasn't there.
It wasn't there. So I don't know. I emailed Fitbit and I said, hey, it fell off my wrist. And they they didn't ask one question. They just said, show us the receipt. And I got confirmation today that my new bracelet and tracker and everything is in the mail to me for a zero.
Wow.
And they're sending it to me. So for me, that's excellent customer service. And I just thought I really, really wanted to mention that about Fitbit. So bravo, Fitbit. Way to go, because that's so super important, especially in establishing your brand and keeping your customers happy.
Yeah, and hear their customers talking all about them on our radio show, so that's amazing.
How does the color look on me today? This is my color.
The color
today.
Looks really, really great.
Can you see the black bow?
I
have
really
the black
love
bow
it.
in my hair, but I don't think you can see it. It's
Yeah,
up
you
here somewhere.
can see it a little bit there. Yeah.
So I'm testing out colors and hairstyles, and I was doing a VO session this morning, so I was like, I didn't even have time to hardly brush my hair. Anyway, we have a guest.
We do have a guest, and he has not called in yet, so...
Oh, stand by. Also, I want to talk about...
Yeah.
Congratulations to
Kickstarter.
Flexi.
Yes.
Flexi Kickstarter campaign, which we have been talking about for the past few weeks. Well, it was 30 days. She's fully funded. She has about 4 more hours to go, maybe 3 more hours to go, but she is 106% as of this morning fully funded. So that's amazing. I am so happy. For those of you who don't know, Flexi, it's called Flexi Splash Guard, and it's to stop a 19-year-old girl named Lexi Eugenia. She invented it, and it's really cool. It's a thing that actually goes on your sink, and you can see it at Kickstarter under Flexi, Flexii. Still time
and
to donate.
And it's on screen right now.
Yeah, and it stops the water from splashing on you when you're doing the dishes, which is just freaking ingenious.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So she already has interest. Grommet wants to do it. The Grommet.com wants to put it up, and she also has some type of. Can you guys see I'm like picking on a pimple here on my neck? This is like I just found it, so I'll probably do this the entire show. Anyway, it's very cool. So she got funded. Thank you, all the powers that be, and thank everybody for supporting Lexi. Lexi and
Flexi. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I think it is time now that we can introduce our guest.
Oh,
Wendi.
good. He's on the line?
Yes.
That's terrific. So, hey, Eli, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, great. Here, I'm going to do a little bit of intro. Here at the C Spot, we always like to say, going to market with Wendi and Peter, what's your bag? So, you know what, Eli, I think I'm just going to ask you, what's your bag? And that way you can just explain to everybody, in your own words, who you are and what you do.
Yeah, you bet. So my name is Eli Regalado. I am the founder of the Mad Hatter Agency. We are a launch agency headquartered in Denver, Colorado, and we specialize in taking products and services to market, and we do a lot of it through traditional PR, a lot of growth hacking techniques, and within the last 18 months or so, we've really embraced crowdfunding and the opportunities that people are using to launch their new businesses.
So I've talked to you a while back. How I know or met, which I've never met you physically, Eli, and but thank you so much for being on the show. I'm so happy that we get to talk about your agency, what you do, what makes you different, and also crowdfunding, because there's so many there's just so many different elements to crowdfunding, and I know that you have a very energetic and different take on what it takes to have a successful crowdfunding campaign. And then you also offer pretty unique services there at Mad Hatter Agency. But I first came across you. I was hanging out on YouTube, and I don't know what I clicked on or why I clicked on it or whatever, but you were giving a talk at you were talking like at a trade show or something, in a seminar, a session at a trade show. And you were making so much sense about Kickstarter really is, or crowdfunding really is just another marketing tool. Isn't that really what you were saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's thousands and thousands of campaigns that go live on these crowdfunding sites across the globe, and the ones that really break through and the ones that really resonate are the value creators and the marketers. Anyone can have an idea for a product, but the people who really know how to market it and position it effectively on these platforms are the ones that break through and raise the most amount of money.
And what you were saying something about, No, I'm so sorry. I didn't have time to review that video. It would be a really great idea also that you could talk about, where to find that video, because it was so informative. You gave very helpful hints about, really crowdfunding isn't, you have to think, what am I trying to frickin' say here?
That's a good question.
It's most people believe that you can put your product up, or your idea or your concept or your cause or whatever it might be, that you can just post it up there on Kickstarter, on Indiegogo, or wherever you're choosing to put it up there. But there's so much more to it, right?
Exactly, and if you think of history, you're not going to redefine the rules of history, and crowdfunding is no exception. So a brick and mortar store, there's people who believe that if I just open a restaurant on a busy street, I'm just going to be flooded with restaurant patrons. May or may not happen, right? And the World Wide Web, we saw the same thing, which is, hey, here's this huge traffic channel of commerce, and the lie was if you just slap up a site and have a presence, that you're going to get rich, you're going to get rich quick. And that same notion has carried over through crowdfunding. Any nascent industry is the same, but people today, they see these $1 million campaigns and they say, wow, they raised $1 million in 30 days. What they don't realize, and what they don't have the backstory to, is the months of preparation and really massaging that message and reaching out to influencers in the target market to really get that campaign teed up in a right way, so that day one they have a slew of traffic that's coming through and being converted.
Yeah, there's the experience that I've had. I'm on the crowdfunding on LinkedIn. I'm on like a crowdfunding group or something like that, right? Just to learn and see whatever other people are saying, and it never ceases to amaze me that I find people contacting me or posting things like, hey, I'm going to put something up on Kickstarter. What's the best way to get this done really quick? And it's like, there is no best way to get it done really quick,
Right.
And it's so, I have a friend that is now doing a Kickstarter campaign, but what he's doing? He's doing something similar to, I think, what your agency offers, which let's talk about that next. Which is, pretty much an overall marketing plan, really how to get out there and do it. But yet, you're different, and you can talk about your own model. But I know that my friend is paying a nice percentage of what is raised to this PR company that is going to actually run his Kickstarter campaign for him. Can you talk a little bit about Mad Hatter Agency, and also, maybe what's wrong with doing a Kickstarter campaign where you're giving a percentage away?
So I don't think there's, with any deal, right, the power of the deal is always the deal itself and how it's structured and the parties that are involved. So anytime that you bring on either a consultant or an agency or any other partner, you got to make sure that, one, they have experience in what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Just because someone has a PR company doesn't necessarily mean they know how to, build buzz ahead of time and really build a groundswell of support before anything goes live. So a couple things I'd be wary about, before hiring anybody is, do they have experience doing what it is that you're trying to get done? Yes or no? Okay, so let's just say they do. The next thing you want to ask is, do they have the resources to actually get things done when they need to get done? And there's a lot of people who say, yes, this is a product that I can take to market, not a problem, blah, blah, blah. And, they start going and pitching it. Now, the media is very finicky, right? So you might have one angle that you think is going to be a home run, and it's just radio silence. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Right? So you really need to have the back-end support and the staff and the processes in place to where if plan A doesn't go right, very quickly you can run plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E before you run out of time. And so that's mostly what I see happen is people have a plan. They think they have the market because most of these are brand new products or services or ideas, right?
Yeah.
And they go and they start pitching the media to this in those particular segments, and it's not positioned right. it's not set up correctly, or just people just don't care. You think your target market's one group, and they hate what you're selling. We've had that happen.
Yeah, well, I've had that happen too.
Yeah. At the end of the day, right? This is all marketing. So unless you can pivot and pivot quickly, you can be dead in the water, and you're going to waste a lot of time and a lot of money in the meantime.
Okay, don't type, because it's really loud. We can really hear it if you type on your keyboard. I just heard you. Were you typing, Eli?
No, I wasn't typing.
Oh, what was that, Peter?
It just must have been some static or something.
Oh, okay. It sounded like somebody was tapping on a keyboard. Sorry about that. I was listening to a show, the Beancast, actually. It's Bob Norp's marketing and advertising, the hot topics of what's happening today. And this guy, Winston from from Deutsch LA, was on. This guy, he's a partner. And it was really interesting because they weren't talking about Kickstarter or crowdfunding, but what Winston was talking about, and it was really surprising for me because me being a direct response expert for 20 years, we do a lot of testing, right? We do a lot of targeting and testing in small ways, and then we grow our media. We don't defend a budget, we grow our budgets, and we do that intelligently. We do that through data. We do that through, just because usually direct response in the day is being used by people who don't have a lot of money. So we have to do that smart to build a brand, introduce a product. That was the genesis of direct response with Ron Popeil and all of that, which has now grown to be ubiquitous in all marketing. But what Winston was saying, and I thought it was really great to hear a big agency like Deutsch talking about it, where they're really finding out, hallelujah, that going out and not spending a bunch of money, but spending small amounts of money in many different places, testing many different strategies or tactics or ads for the same product, right, is really where they're going right now, So especially when there's social and there's so many ways to get your momentum moving without spending a ton of money, and that kind of leads back to, this is really what you have to do to raise that $1 million, $2 million, $3 million in 30 days, because it's just not going to happen to people that easily. Right.
Totally agree. So let me give you one study in particular. So we just launched a client. The client wanted to keep everything in the dark until launch day. And I said, well, the risks with this are, if the initial target market that you're thinking doesn't respond to it, we're going to be up shit creek here pretty quick.
Right.
I said, no, I've done some testing. I've done some focus groups, which I personally hate, but that's just me.
Me too.
And everyone loves the product. Now, there is a big chasm between and buy.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because someone likes what you have does not mean they're willing to give you money for it. And it really sure as hell doesn't mean they're willing to give you money before it even exists. So there's a few challenges that present itself with that type of model, right? So what we always like to do is, test in these small markets, see if we can actually get them to buy that or click that buy button. Because if they click the buy button, then at least that the intention is there. And then at the buy button, you can have a little call to action saying, hey, we're getting ready to launch in 2 months. Enter your email address here, and we'll let you know as soon as it's live. And if you just do that in a couple low-cost, quick ways with some Google AdWords or in some forums or some quick landing pages, that's going to give you a really good idea on what type of messaging needs to be in place in order to actually take those visitors and turn or convert them into customers.
Yeah, because it's so simple. It's in today's world, the information is there. The consumer is out there telling you exactly what they want. Or, and it's pretty inexpensive to reach a certain segment or multiple segments of the population in order for them to just tell you what they want. The problem is, just like you said, and I've heard it a frickin' million times, right? No, I did a focus group and everybody loves my product. And the focus group is probably like the neighborhood. But, You
Right.
know, and focus groups are so biased because I always believe the minute you give somebody the power of veto, or the minute you set somebody down in a chair and there's 10 people, egos just grow exponentially, and they're there to tell you what's wrong with the product, not what's right with the product. I mean, that's the mentality I think that shifts in a focus group is, oh, now I get to, like, you know, you find the one thing that I hate about it as opposed to all of the things that I love about it. And that's what you walk out of the room with. You walk out of the room with, oh, shit, my product sucks. or oh, my product is so great. But that doesn't, you know, I just think focus groups are actually a waste of money. So that's my take on that.
Well, and it doesn't inform you like what's going to make them buy it at all.
Because they don't have to pay money for it.
Right.
Like Eli said, they don't have to pay money for it. The minute you have to part with some cash, it's a total different story.
Absolutely.
And especially if you have to part with cash before anything even exists, Oculus, you know? So,
Right.
So tell us about Mad Hatter Agency, Eli. I want to know, you know, what makes you different. Let's talk about a couple of the campaigns that you have funded and helped fund. And then also, I totally remember this now. When I watched the YouTube video, you gave some amazing secrets and connections and like URLs or places to go to. So maybe what I would love, and I don't even know if you know how to find that video that I watched, but to give a way to find that, because in that video, in that session and that speech, or, you know, what do you call it, that you did, you gave some remarkable go-to places to help people with their campaigns. So whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So you bet. So let's start with Mad Hatter. So Mad Hatter, we're a launch agency. Before this, I had a digital ad agency. So we, you know, would produce viral videos, and we do digital campaigns for, you know, large and mid-sized companies. And that was fun for a while, but the problem with being a digital ad agency is there's about 30 million of them on the planet.
Right.
And it just got to the point where we're really just starting to move money around. We weren't doing really any innovative campaigns or anything that we really like to specialize in. And I like working with startups and entrepreneurs. The problem with working with those two groups is there's a lack of resources available.
Right.
And so I was talking to, you know, a few of the people that I have in my network. One of them, Scott Case, he's the CEO of an organization called Startup America Partnership. He introduced me to Slava Rubin. Slava is the CEO of Indiegogo, which is the world's second largest crowdfunding campaign.
Right.
And I was kind of talking back and forth about crowdfunding, and I said, you know, it's a cool concept, and I can see, you know, how a lot of these bootstrappers can make some money, but I don't really see, you know, any business opportunity in there. And one thing stuck out on one of these conversations, and that was, as soon as this thing moves out of quirky zone, which is kind of like, we're just starting to leave that now, and you're starting to see people using these platforms as a really sophisticated way of raising capital, that's when things are going to start getting more lucrative. And we're seeing it now with crowdfunding for real estate. We're seeing it now with crowdfunding for shares in an organization for equity.
Yeah.
And so we decided 18 months ago to position ourselves as one of the thought leaders in this space. Now, I use that word very sparingly. So think about like when Facebook and Twitter and all these other platforms, you know, turned on live. And if you remember, I mean, one of the things that really struck me was, you know, I've been in marketing for a long time, and I saw all these platforms come online, and then I saw people who I knew personally for years, all of a sudden they were social media experts. And I go, fuck, you know, I'm like way behind the times. I'm like, how in the hell are they an expert already? Right? And then you start looking and digging and peeling back the onion, and it's like, oh, okay, you're not really an expert. You're just saying you're an expert. And we're seeing a lot of that with crowdfunding. So our first campaign we did, we didn't even charge for it. We just said, let's just kind of see what happens. And, you know, I had the hypothesis that this is really just a marketing campaign, and we're going to treat it as such. So we did, and we went live, and I did the first one with just very little pre-launch, took it live. They wanted to raise $18,000 for literally a plastic straw, and we did raise like almost $19,000 for it. And I knew if I could raise money for a plastic straw, I could raise money for anything. So that worked. The next campaign was a digital toy, like a little Lego type toy, that you could connect all these little blocks, build these little creatures, and then control it with your iPhone. So it's really high-tech, creative.
Was that the Adams toys?
We did.
Eli.
Yep, that was Adams Express.
Okay, yeah, because we have a photo of
So
that.
they want to
coming up.
raise, and we ended up raising
We have a lot of
$183,000 for that.
Hey, Eli, just real quick, don't mean to interrupt, but we have a lot of static coming from your microphone. So are
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's still staticky. What's up with that?
Yeah, it's weird.
Are you on a
Is that better now?
Right now it sounds better, yeah.
It
Can you
sounds
hear me now?
Totally.
Not really. No, there's
Okay,
feedback.
yeah, sorry about that.
No, there's feedback.
I was on my headset.
No, there's feedback. Are you on your cell phone just holding it to your ear now, or are you on a landline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on my cell phone right now. Let me tell you.
Okay. All right, that sounds better. Just try not to move. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, great. I won't move. We'll just talk.
So you were talking about
But I was saying
Adams.
For Adams. Yeah. So for Adams Express, we really took several months doing a pre-launch. We involved the community. We started attending all the different tech meetups, showcasing the product, and then the call to action each one of these meetups was, hey, here's a list, enter your email address, and we're going to let you know when this thing goes live. We started doing Google Hangouts with select tech contributors as well as editors and showing them the product, weeks before we even launched. And the difference that made was day one, we came out and we were on the front page of Mashable, Fast Company, Wired, and other top tech publications. In addition to that, we already have this community of supporters that we've been building up over the last several months. So we raised 25% of our goal within the first 48 hours.
Okay, so Eli, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question: how did you get on?
Yeah.
The cover of Mashable or whatever. How did you get that PR going? Before the launch. I mean, how did you do that?
Yeah, you need to work with somebody that either has connections or you just need to reach out yourself. In this case, we're working with her name's Star Million Baker, and she just does PR, but she's a really well-known tech PR gal. She has Inc. PR down in Austin, Texas. So we hired her, showed her the product, she loved it, and then so she had already some existing relationships with some of these folks. And once you get the first one, it's easy to get the others, right? So if you can say, hey, look, we're going to be doing this next Tuesday at 3 o'clock. We already have commitments from Mashable and Inc. We thought we'd invite you too. Now everyone thinks they're missing out and they want in on that scoop, right?
Yeah. Okay, so
if you don't have those resources to, yes, if you don't have those resources to hire a PR firm, you can do it yourself. Just make sure you're working off of a media list, and you can buy those online. We sell them, so you can get them anywhere between, a few $100s to several $1,000s, just depending on how big and broad you want.
So you didn't do that through social. You went and there's certain ways and certain channels and tactics that you have to use actually in order to get that kind of momentum going. That's not something that Lexi could have done for her Kickstarter campaign because she just doesn't have the wherewithal, the resources, the know-how, the nothing, right? So that's kind of where someone like you comes in because you have fantastic resources. I mean, I was really impressed with your resources.
Yeah, thanks. And with any of these, right, so money's a shortcut to everything. So if you have some bucks to spend, you can get a lot further faster. If you don't, you're just going to have to bootstrap it. And so let me give you a few sites to use when you're bootstrapping a product and be able to, go to market very quickly. So the first thing you want to do is if you're going to use social, let me preface this by saying social, when people talk about social media, there's a lie that I'm going to, myth that I'm going to dispel right now. Most people see their crowdfunding campaign goes live and they say, hey, our biggest contributor of traffic to this campaign is Facebook. So we're going to spend all this money, just posting on Facebook and spamming the feed with our friends and family. Yeah. Okay, well, if you look back and start going through that traffic, you'll see that a lot of it is from bloggers or mainstream PR
Right.
outlets writing an article, and then people are sharing it on Facebook, and that Facebook traffic is then what's driven to your site. So if you want to go into 80-20 rule, right? So you're going to get 80% of your revenue from these 20% of media outlets that have influence, because the reason it's so lucrative going after the bloggers and the journalists is they already have a highly curated audience that would care about what it is that you're trying to sell.
That's right.
As opposed to just going to social media and saying, oh, hey, my mom liked my post. Well, that's great, unless mom's, a techie or whatever. It's probably not going to be a good long-term strategy.
It's
Okay, so having said that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We still have a lot of static, but we're working our way through it. I just don't want you to be disappointed when you watch the show because it's staticky.
Yeah, it's just staticky.
It's just crazy. Okay, you know what, Eli? Do me a favor. Hang up and call me back. Call us back. Okay? Because the static...
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and run a commercial from our sponsor.
That's right. We're going to run a commercial from our sponsor, and meanwhile, you hang up and... Do you have a landline close by?
I do.
Okay, can you call us back on the landline? Hopefully that'll solve the problem.
Yeah, I will do. I'll clear right back.
Okay, thanks.
So we'll be right back with Eli, and
Yep.
here's a word from our sponsor.
Direct Avenue is much more than a leading direct response TV media buyer. We specialize in the expert planning, brand building, analysis, and management of short-form and branded DRTV ad campaigns. We manage direct response TV ad campaigns for clients throughout the United States and Canada. As a Direct Avenue client, you'll benefit from big agency relationships and resources, but receive boutique agency service with the flexibility and creativity to plan and manage a TV ad campaign that meets the particular needs of your company. For more information, visit directavenue.com. When you contact us, mention you heard about us on the C-Spot radio show and receive a free analysis of your TV ad campaign.
And we're back on the C-Spot, going to market with Wendi and Peter here on ubnradio.com.
Hey, and I just want to say a shout out to Direct Avenue because they are the best short form direct response or DR television media buyers and planners. I love them to death.
They are.
And Scott Kowalczyk's going to be here, the CEO, next week. So we always have a joke that, you can call Scott. Our old ad used to say that you could call Scott directly. Well, you can call Scott next week because he's going to be in the studio live next week. And we're going to talk about television media and what's happening, what the climate is like out there in direct response media, and what it takes to have a successful campaign. So I can't wait for Scott to be in the show next week. Did Eli get back to us yet?
Yes, we are getting Eli back
on the line. Hopefully,
back on the line right
clear.
now, and hopefully it will be a nice, clear connection.
Okay, so are we there?
All right.
with it? Hey, Eli.
Okay, is that better?
Oh my God, so much better. I should have had you
it's
do
so much
that,
better.
15 minutes ago. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, because it was really getting a little obnoxious, and I didn't want to do that to my listeners, your listeners. Okay, so you were just about to give us some resources, or we were talking about how social really isn't social unless you really have that. A lot of like the bloggers, right? People don't really understand. I just had this conversation at
Right.
lunch over the weekend. It's like, someone was saying, because I have EasyGo Pro, right? My product, the toilet stool for the toilet, right?
Yep.
And they were telling me, she said to me, and I hope she's not listening, but I wanted to just kill her. She said, I'm really tired of seeing toilet pictures on Facebook. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a stool for a toilet. And she goes, well, people really don't want to see toilets all the time on Facebook. I said, well, number one, it's the Facebook page for EasyGo Pro. And number two, I don't really think a whole hell of a lot of people are seeing that. So I'm not going to worry about it. So anyway, let's get back to, what the importance is like you, my guest. I'd like to have guests on my show that I know have a following, right? Because I'm building my audience also at the same time. So it's kind of the same theory.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So you might just jump into some tools then?
Yes, please,
That would be
because
great.
we have about another 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. So the first thing you want to do when it comes to social, right, I take it with a grain of salt, but if you're going to do social, what I always do is I go out and I find the influencers within those particular niches. Now, it's easier said than done if you don't have the right tools. So the first tool that you want to use to do this is what's called Social Bro. So that's socialbro.com. It's a really weird little quirky name. I didn't invent it. But what this is going to allow you to do is a few things. It's going to allow you to search by bio information very, very quickly. So let's just say that, okay, so give me kind of like some of the buzzwords around your Easy-Go stool.
Constipation, hemorrhoids, feeling better, elevate your feet to elevate your life. It's really just about being more comfortable. Western toilet is not something we should be sitting on. We should get back to nature, get back to basics. The proper position, ergonomically correct. I don't know,
Okay.
Feel better, take a load off. I don't know.
Yeah, so what you want to start doing is putting together a list of all the different keywords that someone's going to associate themselves with. So like ergonomics would be a big one, right? So you could sit there and say ergonomics, do a search across Twitter for everyone that has ergonomics in their profile description.
Oh.
So maybe they make chairs, and so they know about the ergonomics of chairs, and if you don't have a decent chair and you're sitting in it all day, it's going to mess up your entire life because you're going to be tired, you're going to be cranky, you're going to kick your dog, whatever it is. So ergonomics would be one. Another one would be, maybe like homeopathic medicine, right? So rather than just taking these pills so you can go, easier, better, faster, right? Is there a more natural way? Yes, this stool.
Yeah.
So you're going to reach out to those influencers. And what this does with Social Bro, it doesn't just provide you with a list of here's 20 million names. It'll actually rank them by influence.
Okay, that's what you talked about on the thing that I watched on YouTube, and I love that. Now, is that Social Bro like it sounds, BRO?
Yep, BRO.com.
Okay, perfect. Love it. Thank you.
That's a great tool.
So, so you'll be able to see exactly who's influential in this particular space, and then you can start having a conversation with those people. The worst thing that you can do at this point is just send them a link to your campaign and say, hey, back me, right? It's like me just walking up to a stranger on the street and trying to sell them Amway or something, right? It's just going to have them hold you at arm's length.
Right.
So really start finding out who they're talking to, who they're conversing with on a regular basis, start friending those folks, and then kind of start interjecting yourself into that community. Now, once you have the list of influencers, the next tool that I like to use is called Twitonomy, so TWITONOMY.com, so Twitonomy. And what Twitonomy is going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to plug in a handle of one of these influencers, and then it's going to show you who their sphere is. Yes. And the reason that's important is you can say, okay, here's who they talk to the most, here's who they retweet the most, here's who influences them, because birds of a feather flock together. So if you can start surrounding yourself with the people that hold influence over these influencers, you get a lot further faster.
I love it.
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. It's all about this is, Taco Bell's thing is how they do all of their stuff. It's the 80-20, and then it's actually the 80-20 of the 20, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Another trick, you have to be careful with this. I did it a lot more in the past than I do now, but I still occasionally use it, is using Facebook to find these influencers as well. Now, take this with a grain of salt, and you have to approach it with tact and non-spam. But with Facebook, how it works is people will typically accept your friend request if they can see that you have mutual friends in common.
Right.
Okay? So I used to be a glorified, bastardized headhunter, if you will. I did a lot of consulting for private business publications, and it would be my job to reach out to these, influencers and get them for cover shoots, get them for articles, do all kinds of crazy stuff with them. So the first thing I did is I started becoming friends with all the editors for these top media publications, so Time Magazine, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, etc. And then once I had them as friends, I would start going through their friend graphs and then finding influencers. So this is how I actually met Steve Wozniak, co-founder of Apple. This is how I met Vince Cerf and Larry Roberts, two of the 4 internet creators. I've done the same method to personally meet with 8 international presidents. So Facebook is all about social proof, and if you can show that you run with an elite circle, chances are they're going to accept your friend request, and that's going to kick off your platform to start building that relationship.
That's interesting, because Facebook, because you have to be very careful of what you're doing on Facebook, because they're starting to be a little bit of assholes, right? It's like if you're sending a friend request to somebody that they have a feeling that they don't even know who the hell you are or anybody else is, they come after you for that, right? They're going to say, we're going to shut you down if you keep sending friend requests to people that you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So one of the ways to get around that I've always used is to do a guest post somewhere, or just interview them for a podcast or a quick little article, and to reach out to them instead of sending a friend request first, send them a message. And if you can send them you can send somebody a message that you're not friends with, and usually what will happen is for some accounts, Facebook says you're not connected to this person. Send them a request to their inbox for $1, and then you just kind of write 3 to 4 sentences of why you're contacting them, exactly what it is you want, and then once you have that relationship, then you send the friend.
Do you have to you have to pay $1?
$1, yeah.
What the shit?
Otherwise, it'll go to their other message box.
Oh my God, I am so sick of frickin' Facebook. I am between their paid posts, their sponsored posts, their this, their that. They're, for $6.99 you can have this. It's just, they are like the epitome of this stupid, low-level pitch person at the county fair. I am sorry. That's what they're turning into.
Well, no, let's think about the flip side of that, though, too. So let's just say that you call, the editor of the Wall Street Journal, right? And you leave a message with their secretary. The chances of that call getting returned, or even them seeing it, are like 99 million to 1, right? Same thing if you somehow find or stumble across their email address, because those are going to get filtered. But when you contact somebody via a social network, those feeds go directly to them, because it's 9 times out of 10 it's their personal email address that they sign up with, because they want to see pictures of their grandkids, they want to see pictures of their family, right? So I think it's worth the $1. It's not something that we spend thousands of dollars a month doing, but when we really want a key strategic contact in a certain industry or niche, we'll spend that $1 every day.
I know, but Eli, that'll change, because everybody's going to start spending $1 to get into somebody's messages. I mean, how many messages do you get? I get messages all of the time, like direct messages. And the next thing I know is I say, okay, this person, like on LinkedIn, like, okay, this person, I'll accept them. Next thing I know, they're pitching me their business. And it's like, I don't want you to pitch me your business. Maybe I want to develop a relationship with you because you seem like a very interesting person and you have great contacts and things like that. But don't start pitching me how your call center is the greatest in the world and blah, 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 blah. And then it just doesn't end. And then I got to get rid of them. So in the end, that $1 will only last so long. And this tactic will only last so long until, people figure it out. Right. I mean, really?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And like with anything good, right, it always comes to an end.
Yeah.
So the trick with, anything when it comes to digital influence or reaching out to these influencers is you want to find out what works. And as soon as you find what works, you want to do as much of it as you can, as fast as you can, before they stop it.
Yeah, because, I know how difficult it is. I was on the phone with someone the other day, and he was telling me, he says, and he's this kind of money guy, right? It's just wherever the money is, his nose goes. And he goes, I'm going to tell you where the money is. The money is right now. I really couldn't stand this guy, but the money is is in those young people on YouTube. They have all those, the millenniums. All they're doing is following everybody on YouTube, and YouTube is the biggest thing, and they have their favorite people on YouTube. But you know what? Those people on YouTube, they need agents. And that's where the money is. They've got to go out there and get those young kids that are on YouTube and make some money off of them. And I was just like, what? Okay, I get it. Maybe they do need agents, and maybe it is a really big thing, because that targeted demographic, all they're watching is YouTube. We all realize that, right? That's all they're watching is YouTube.
And skipping commercials. Right. Do they have disposable income or whatever? You can get into all of the different, things that we always look at in direct response. But if you want to hit that targeted demographic, you can do it on YouTube. This guy's point was, how do we make money off of these young kids? And I was like, I can feel the grease coming off of your forehead right now, dude. Right. Buckets of it.
Exactly. So, okay, you have any more tips? Because like I said, the show goes so fast. We only have like 5 more minutes.
You bet. Yeah. So another one, when it comes time to start building your Twitter following. So on Social Bro, go in there when you find, put out a key search. So let's just say it's ergonomics, right? And it's going to show you the 500 people. With one button, you can click one button and it says add all to list. And then you can sit there and say, people in the ergonomics industry. And what it'll do is you can make it a public list, and then everybody who's on that list will instantly get a little ding saying that they've been added to this, list of ergonomic experts or whatever, right? The next thing that person does is they're going to do two things. They're going to look at the description of your Twitter handle. So what do you say about yourself? So make sure you have the word ergonomics somewhere in there. And then they're going to go to your website and see what you're all about.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah. So it's a really quick way to build that following lightning fast. Another one to use is what's called target pattern. Now, what target pattern allows you to do is it allows you to plug in certain keywords, and then anytime that somebody tweets that keyword or says something about it, the system will automatically go and favorite that tweet.
Target pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Is it targetpattern.com?
Yep.
Okay.
And the reason that's effective is if you're favoriting, 1,000 tweets a day that have to do with entrepreneurship, and you have in your bio, entrepreneurship thought leader, I help entrepreneurs start businesses, and then there's a link to your site, it's a great lead flow mechanism that doesn't take you any extra time. Now, think of this as kind of like a kickoff. You still have to catch the ball and run the ball, so when people start replying to you or saying, hey, tell me more about yourself, or hey, can I talk to you? You got to be Johnny on the spot and really interacting with that community. What this does is it takes all the grunt work out of the picture for you so that you can start focusing on having conversations as opposed to starting to try to find people to talk to you.
So that was targetpattern.com, right? I was trying to type that. Is that what it was called again?
Yes.
Targetpattern.com. Okay. I can't wait to get back to the office.
I know, so many exciting tips and information from you, Eli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are these all part of the growth hacking tactics you talk about on your website?
Yeah, they are. So, and you can put even in there, some Boolean searches, right? So you can say contributor, and Forbes, right? So if you want to just find Forbes contributors, pull all those people into a list, and you start having conversations with those people. So it's really, what's cool about social and the internet is the speed and the scale at which you can make connections and grow your business.
You just have to do it. You just have to do it with some education. You can't take it for granted. You really need to have some education, real quick, we only have a couple of minutes left. You need to talk about your agency a little bit so that, you're promoting your services on the show, if you would.
Sure. So we work with people who are looking to either launch a product or raise money. So people come to us. We have people who sell to celebrities. We have high-end jewelry designers. We have tech companies. We have a lot of consumer product type companies and services. And we sit down with every single client before we take any client, because we're a boutique agency. We do a feasibility study. So let's just say that you come to me and you say, I want to raise $100,000 for this new kind of steering wheel. The first thing that I'm going to do is look and see what the market's has done so far. I'm going to find out reporters who are in the industry, see if we have any connections to them. And I'm really going to sit there and look and say, okay, does it make sense for us to take this project? And if not, we're going to pass, because we see about 50 deals a day, and we will maybe take 4 clients a month. But
wow.
The other side of that is we have people that say, hey, look, I don't need an agency. I can do everything myself. I just need to know what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And in that case, we just provide a consulting service to where it's like all these different tools that I broke down to you. We have it developed in a very packaged curriculum online. We teach at the Global Crowdfunding Convention every year. We do a lot of international speaking for actually state governments and whatnot to train their entrepreneur groups. But two business models. One, which is the personal one-on-one hand-holding. Those services cost $15,000. It's a 3-month engagement. If someone has the resources and the team and some know-how around the web, we can train their staff how to do everything that we do, and those services are $3,000.
That is awesome. That's pure awesomeness, as I like to say. Awesome sauce. Are you smelling what I'm selling? I heard that the other night, and I just thought that was the greatest line. Are you smelling what I'm selling?
And if you're trying to raise $100,000, it's worth it, to engage someone like you, Eli.
Well, sure, but Eli, if somebody engages you for either one of those opt-ins, those offers that you have there, you're not guaranteeing that you're going to raise anything, correct?
We're not guaranteeing anything because at the same time, being as these are new products and services, we don't know if people are ever going to buy. So that's where the feasibility study comes in, and that's when we say, look, and we tell people just straight up, it's like, you're trying to sell, gold to people that can't afford gold. So
I tell people, get out of the garage, dude. You're in the garage way too long. You're divorced. You don't have kids. You don't have anything.
And we do have to wrap it up. So Eli, can you let people know how to reach you, and then we'll have to say goodbye to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Eli at madhatteragency.com, and you can find out more information at madhatteragency.com.
That's
Incredible.
Terrific. Eli, I loved having you on the show. I'd love to have you back someday. And also, I'd like to hook up next week sometime. Maybe I'll give you a call because I want to talk about, things. I'm launching EasyGo Pro. If the frickin' mold would ever get here from China. Seriously, it's been on the boat now. I don't know how many times they've told me it was on the boat. Today.
So is that the new way of getting the checks in the mail?
It's just, the Chinese way. Exactly. Can you imagine?
It's on the boat.
Yeah, if I was manufacturing in China, but I had the mold made in China and shipping it over here so we can manufacture in the U.S. But Jesus, if I was manufacturing in China, I want to shoot myself in the head right now. So anyway,
right.
But thank you,
thank you, Eli,
so much for being on the show, and I'll talk to you. I'm going to give you a buzz next week. Okay.
Excellent, guys. Take care.
Okay,
all right,
thanks.
bye, Eli.
Bye.
Bye.
That was a great informative show, and we have to wrap up. Next week we have Scott Kowalczyk here from our sponsor company, Direct Avenue.
We're not wrapping up yet, Peter. Hold on.
Yes.
You got to get the go ahead for me to just click that button. All right, because there's
Well,
a few
I'm not
things.
clicking it yet.
All right,
Go.
all right. I noticed that why we look funny, different, is because these Sennheiser headphones are have a weirdest shape to them.
Yeah, totally.
I noticed that I was looking at the video. I had to shut it because it's this weird ass shape to them. Isn't it weird?
That is totally.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a pretty little thing to put on here. I keep saying that. The other thing is, I want to thank everybody, and I want to tell everybody that I am really grateful that we are both here at UBN Radio, and we love the team here.
Totally.
We just really, really, really love having this chance to just talk, be funny one week and be serious the next week or whatever it might be. But, we're still finding our footing, and but we're having a good time doing it. So share, if you would. C-Spot Talk is our Facebook page. And then to get a hold of me for any consultancy or any creative or anything like that, or consultancy for direct response, it's Wendi, W-E-N-D-I, at the letter C, spotrun.com. You can also see my website, cspotrun.com. That is my core business. This isn't what I do. I do this for fun. And so does Peter. So, and we love all of you. So that's what I wanted to say there. Happy Father's Day, Dad. Tom Orsi he does our outro music that you're going to hear in just a minute. He is nominated for an Emmy. We're going to post that on our Facebook page. So if anybody belongs to the Academy, we would love for you to check it out. And if you might vote for Tom Orsi's music in an Emmy, and for the Emmy. So we're going to put that up on the Facebook page. Okay,
That'd be
Peter?
incredible. Sounds good.
All right. So anyway, until next week, I guess that we're out of here.
Yes,
All
indeed.
right, Peter.
See you next
Love ya.
week. Love you too, Wendi.
Okay. Bye, everybody.